Check, check. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy DJ Trexx. Another edition of Trust the Sound. And today we are in Hollywood. And Rosecrans Vic, tell them who we're interviewing today. Let's go.
Yo, man, we got the man Ichiban Don, a.k.a. Willie B, in the motherfucking building, cooking up some dope shit. You might have heard him on TDE. You might have heard him on Dreamville shit. We got him in the studio right now. We're going to get to know him much more. Rosecrans Ave, Trust the Sound. You got it.
Where you begin and then I end on cloud nine, and that's important when you morph into an angel in the sky. And don't be forging all my signatures. My listeners reply and tell me that you biting style. You got a hell of an appetite, and I'm a beer for a while. Just buckle up before the ride, or knuckle up if you.
What's going on, y'all? This is Willie B. I'm a music producer, LA-based music producer. I've been blessed to work with a few artists that everybody might know about. You might have heard Rigor Mortis by Kendrick Lamar. You might have heard, I don't know, 03 Adolescence by J. Cole. You might have heard Black Thoughts by Schoolboy Q. The list goes on. I mean, Huey New by Absol. Those are some of the few records that I've done recently.
So what made you fall in love with hip-hop? Was there a song or artist or album in particular?
Yeah. The song was actually Boys in the Hood by Eazy-E. That was the first rap record I ever knew. Funny part about it is the person who introduced it to me was my sister, my older sister. I was like 4 or 5 years old. It's crazy because she's super into gospel. She don't listen to rap or nothing like that no more. You know what I mean? But Boys in the Hood was the first record that I've ever paid attention to, took a liking to, learned the words, took in. You know what I mean? And from there on, it was just kind of like, it was a rap after that, in a sense. Like that's where it started. You know what I mean? But I would say what made me fall in love with hip hop was Electric Relaxation. Tribe. That was the record that made me fall in love with hip hop all the way.
That's dope. That's a wide spectrum. Yeah. That's a super wide spectrum.
Anything that sounds good.
So what made you begin to make music?
Well, my family has a pretty strong musical background. My father actually came to L.A. He was in a singing group like in the 70s, and him and his homies came out here, started a group. Oh, they had the group back in Cleveland, from where he's from, you know what I'm saying? But they came out here, started doing music, yada, 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 and that's pretty much how it started. Like, I get it from my dad, honestly. Like, that's where it comes from. The whole music thing comes from my pops. He told me stories about when I was in my mama's stomach. Like, he used to always put the music to her stomach and all that, you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like a natural thing.
I don't know. From the first time we met, one thing that I find really inspiring about you is that I remember you were talking about champion sound, and you're the perfect, depiction of having a plan and executing it, because not many people could do that, and people don't realize how hard it is to have an idea and say, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but never fully go through with it. So tell us a little bit more about champion sound, because I feel like I want the world to be introduced to this movement you're creating, this group, this certain sound that you've been putting on for in the last 2 years.
Yes, sir. We got Jay Anthony, singer, songwriter, amazing talent. We have he's also an engineer. He just does all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And we got Mickey Taylor, singer, songwriter as well, amazing artist, world artist. We got, if you guys are into battle rapping, you're into antics, and you're into trolls, and you know what I'm saying, and video, crazy viral videos. One of the most famous battle rappers in battle rapper history, Daylight. He's one of our artists as well, and we've been getting a lot of work in. A lot of people have been giving us a lot of great feedback as far as the sound that me and him have been creating together. It's been a pretty dope ride so far. I mean, honestly, the sound that I've been making with all of these artists is nuts. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's a matter of time, obviously, before everybody accepts the sound or whatnot. But yeah, man. Some of the best music I've been making in my life has been with these 3 artists, to be honest with you. I mean, this is no disrespect to any major artists that I've already collaborated with. I make great music with them as well. It's all a blessing at the end of the day. I'm blessed to be able to create and do what I love and provide for my family doing what I love. You know what I'm saying? But champions only, champion sound, 2018, man. We coming with the shits, dog, and that's just what it is, man.
And I find it really amazing. When you told me about Daylight, I was really curious because over the next few months, I was kind of thinking, I was like, all right, he's a battle rapper. Is Willie going to be able to make him a complete artist? And when you dropped the project, I was just like so happy because, you accomplished your goal, and so many good reviews on Twitter. People were just amazed and surprised, Not only was the production on point, the way he was dancing on the beat, his flows on the beat were just, incredible. So I, like I said, very inspiring. And even I got inspired to start executing my plans and going through with them, man.
Yeah, I think that speaks to true producing, not just beat making. Yeah, so I think speak on what you feel the difference between a producer and a beat maker are, and how you are executing the producing level.
I'm gonna speak from both sides because I was both. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I still make beats to this day. Sometimes I'll just sit at the house and I make beats. You get what I'm saying? Where they're just records that's kind of, in a sense, I guess you could say those are the starting ideas. For the most, the difference between producing and beat making, when you're beat making, you're just kind of like knocking out the record at that moment. It's not really any ideas on it. It's just a beat. You know what I'm saying? But when you're producing a record, you're in the studio, you're in with the artist, you're telling the artist how you should sing on the record and things like that. You and the artist are bouncing ideas back and forth and all that type of stuff. Producing a record, actually, it's more than it. Honestly, producing a record really is more than the beat. It's not even really the beat. It's more so the ideas around or the ideas within what's going on within the whole song as a whole. You know what I'm saying? There's records that I worked on with J.I.D, Mickey, and Daylight where it started off as a beat, right? And then, for example, J.I.D, me and him got so many records on his last EP, Two Sides, where there was just a beat, and however he wrote to the song, or this nigga come up with ideas to change, have changes in the records, and we break the stems down and do something totally different in the session. And the record, you hear the beat from when I first made it to how it sounds on the record, it's like, oh shit, like where did that come from? Like it wasn't even there in the first place type shit, So yeah, so that's I would say that's the big difference is you put more it has more to do with just different ideas that have nothing to do with, I mean, of course it's all relative because it's beats, lyrics, yada yada yada, but it's deeper. It's the way you accent the words. It's even adding sounds, it's adding live musicians. It's all that. You know what I'm saying? So
another thing I want to touch base on is what's going on right now, because I feel right now in hip hop and within the past year, there's been this calling, and I've seen it a lot on Twitter and just basic music journalism, that people need to really start showing producers more love. And people are barely starting to recognize how important a producer is in the development of an artist. Like, we're hearing so many songs blow up right now, and the first thing we hear is the producer's name. And some people even say, like, man, like, without that beat, yeah, that song wouldn't be anything. So what can you tell me about the producers out there who are struggling right now and kind of just like not making ends meet, but yet still making, great music and great songs? Like, how can we fix that in the industry, and how should we, approach that from a perspective where everyone is treated fairly, everyone's getting paid on time, everyone's getting a piece of the pie, man?
Hey man, let me just tell you something, dog. That's nothing that we can do about that. All we can just keep doing is making music. That has nothing to do with the creative process. People getting treated right and being paid on time and all that has nothing to do with the creative process. It has nothing to do with production. There's artists that don't get paid on time, and there's artists that don't get treated right as well. It's just about having ethics, and honestly, when it comes to this industry, it's just about linking with people that are really on your team. That's just really what it's about.
Definitely glad you cleared that up. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no, really, I had to know. Another thing too, I feel like you've been blessed to work with some of the most lyrical artists of our generation. Like, you have probably the top 2 out of 3 dogs in the game, Cole, Kendrick, and also too, J.I.D. Like you made that one record with J.I.D, and I was like, again blown away. Is there something about you and lyrical rappers where they just have this connection where they just feel comfortable with you, and why do you think that is?
I mean, off top, energy is everything. Off top, I was a rapper first, and I was a lyrical rapper first. I was a battle rapper first in high school. Like, that's what I did. I really was the best rapper in my school. This is not a fluke. Like, this is not a falsehood. Like, this is real life. I was really a rapper at one point. I just started liking production because I just didn't like the wrestle mentality of the rap game. Like, niggas was just too WWE for me, and I was just like, man, fuck all that. I just want to make beats. I'd rather other artists go through that shit. I don't feel like going through that shit. And plus, it's hard to be an artist. Honestly, like, an artist, man, the artists go through a lot of shit, man. I just didn't feel like going through that shit that they went through. Honestly, man, but yeah, dog. I think that's what where they connect with me is that when I make these records, man, I make these records thinking about the rapper because I was a rapper. So maybe that energy translates, through the record. When they hear the beat or whatever, when they're in the studio with me or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I can't really explain it, but energy is everything, and energy rules this world. A lot of people aren't aware. Well, a lot of people should be aware that that's what it is. It's not just, oh, let me give you this beat, dog, and you just record. That's not what it is. Like, if somebody's feeling a record, it's because it speaks to them in some kind of way without speaking. You feel me? And what that is energy. And as far as these lyrical rappers, I think that's what it conveys to them as, because like I said, if I'm a lyrical rapper, in a sense, lyrical rapper making beats for lyrical rappers. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm making beats for lyrical rappers and I used to rap, so I understand where their mentality is. You get what exactly. So I think that's the way it conveys to artists like him, Dot, Schoolboy, Cole, whatever, so.
Speak on the success and I guess the story behind J. Cole's 03 Adolescence, how it got to him, and then
03 Adolescence. My manager Matt McNeil, he hit me one day, and this is a true story. So Matt hit me, and he's like, "Yo, you got something for Cole?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually I do." And he was like, "All right, send it to me now, because I'm literally in the studio with him right now." And I was like, "Cool." So I sent 4 beats. I sent 3 beats in one email, and I sent 1 beat in one email by itself. And I told him, I said, yo, play him the email with the 1 beat by itself. Trust me, he's going to pick it. Just trust me. My manager wrote back, LOL, okay. My manager hits me back the very next day. You were right. He wants the files. And that's how that happened. And then I want to say 2 weeks later, he was with my manager, and my manager put him on the phone because he wanted to talk to me, and he was just telling me how much he was feeling the record and everything, yada yada. And ever since that's when me and him developed an amazing relationship. J. Cole is an amazing person. He's a great individual. His music is not. But his music is exactly who he is. Like, so I don't, because, people make music and people just make music to make music, but he is exactly who he is on the music. What's going on, y'all? This is Willie B, and you're now rocking with Trust the Sound on RosecransVic.com. Hey, who am I? Things change, rearrange, and so do I.